Hello and welcome to PAVE Europe's 20th virtual panel on Building Trust, the Road to Public Acceptance of Autonomous Vehicles. My name is Nicola Hare and I am the Project and Engagement Manager for the Partners for Automated Vehicle Education here in Europe. I'm thrilled to see such a diverse audience joining us for this very important conversation. Autonomous vehicles are not just this technological marvel, but I think they present a seismic shift in the future of mobility. Despite their enormous potential, however, public trust and acceptance remain critical challenges that could either accelerate or hinder their adoption. Our discussion today will explore what I believe is one of the most pivotal questions in this area, and that is, how can we build and sustain public trust in autonomous vehicles? To guide us through this discussion, we are joined by an exceptional panel of experts. Ingrid Skogsmo from the Swedish National and Transport Research Institute, otherwise known as VTI, Anna Royos from Waymo, Rico Kampfer from P3, and Mikael Hendrich from P3 as well. The webinar is being held in anticipation for PAVE Europe's first publication on understanding, trust, and acceptance of autonomous vehicles. And this work is being led by Mikael and Rico. And throughout today's discussion, we will delve into real-world challenges, public perception, and the strategies to building that gap. We will hopefully touch on collaboration between industry leaders and research institutions and the role that each of us can ultimately play in shaping the future of autonomous mobility. We do encourage you to participate actively, do share your thoughts, ask questions, and engage with our panelists. I think this is a conversation that needs everyone's voice. So I'd like to begin with introducing all of our speakers, and please do share how your work intersects with the goal of building public trust in autonomous vehicles. We'll then hear from Rico and Mikael about the work that they've been doing for PAVE Europe, and then we'll get into the conversation. So if I can start with you, Ingrid, that would be amazing.
All right, so thanks a lot for inviting me to this panel. As Nicola said, I'm Ingrid Skogsmo. I work at VTI. We are in Sweden and we are a research institute, and we are also running a shuttle service. Actually, we are part of a consortium running Ride the Future. This is a shuttle service in Linköping in Sweden. Since 3 years, we run 2 buses. Why do I bring this up? Because it gives lots of valuable insights in how people understand automated mobility. These are level 4 easy mile shuttles, and we have safety drivers obviously on board, and they interact with the public, the passengers, and give us very important feedback. And we also work with the operators, the region, the municipality to make this happen. They are part of our consortium. So I'm very much looking forward to discuss with you how we can further enhance the trust building, and if it is even important to drive traffic towards these types of vehicles. I should also say one more thing. I'm involved in the CCAM partnership, the Cooperative Connected and Automated Mobility Partnership in Europe. Over 200 partners join, including PAVE Europe. And there I'm heading the work with societal aspects and people needs, and obviously trust and acceptance is very important here as well.
Thank you, Ingrid. Anna?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the warm welcome, Nicola. My name is Anna Hoyos. I am the manager for European Policy and Government Affairs at Waymo. And for those who don't know Waymo, we are an autonomous driving technology company based in San Francisco. And Waymo is the world's first autonomous ride-hailing service, and we are currently operating in Phoenix, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Austin. When it comes to trust and public acceptance, Waymo does run several engagement campaigns, and we interact a lot with the public to make sure that they understand how these vehicles operate and how they can really be an added value for everyday mobility. Looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you, Anna. Rico?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Rico Kempfer. I'm representing P3 today and also PAVE Working Group 1, which is Understanding Trust and Acceptance. Within P3, I'm leading the autonomous driving market and strategy team in our autonomous mobility practice. And P3 is a technology and management consultancy, very tech-driven, with a great footprint in like electrification, autonomous mobility, and some other cool stuff. And we're not that typical consultancy because we have more than 500 software developers. So we do not build our own AV stack, but we build like Android automotive infotainment systems for vehicle manufacturers. But Mia and I are in this autonomous mobility practice, and myself, I've been engaging in the field of autonomous vehicles for more than 10 years now. I did my first study on public acceptance in 2016, and I think technology is here, and acceptance, towards acceptance, there's still a long way to go, and that's why we should discuss this not only today, but every day.
Thank you very much. And Michael, please.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Michael Hedrich. Also representing P3, as Rico already said. Also one of the leader of the Working Group 1, User Understanding, Trust and Acceptance. And yeah, I started at P3 since 2 years ago with my master thesis, also in the field of level 4 autonomous vehicles, especially robo taxis and shuttles. And then I continued in several projects like in the technology and regulation part, but also market-related topics. And yeah, I'm also looking forward to the discussion and also to tell you more about the Working Group 1 and what we are doing there.
Amazing. Thank you all so much. So I will actually give the floor to you, Michael and Rico, to tell us more about what you've been doing. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Yes, so yeah, let me start. Yeah, what we are doing at Working Group 1, yeah, as we already said, it's about user understanding, trust, and acceptance. So yeah, as the name already say, yeah, we are looking on building trust, but starting with building first the understanding. So that's our first goal. So we are targeting the general public. It's our first target group that we aligned on, and we're looking at creating a basic understanding and then going step by step to build on this understanding to create like deeper trust and also acceptance in this technology with several tools like our white paper that I would like to tell more about in a few seconds. And yeah, what our main goals are, it's holistic education about the benefits and also about the several use cases that are in place, like mobility as a service, transport as a service, but also the private ownership vehicles. And also to create like a basic understanding about this. Also communicating the use of autonomy in all forms across industries. We also are collaborating with several with our other working groups because they're all also focusing on specific use cases or on specific topics like insurance or transport as a service or goods transport in general. And what we also would like to identify is these typical ethical issues and also demystifying some topics about autonomous driving. It's also important for us and to also to create like understanding, trust, and acceptance with targeted communication and education strategies. So because it's not that easy to target every target group with the same communication tools or strategies. and also in different markets. So that's also one central part of our working group. So yeah, in the end, in working group 1, we have no limits or no boundaries or no limits to in what we are doing or how we are doing it, because building trust, understanding, and acceptance have so many ways to do it. And so what I would like to say is that we would like to create like a toolbox in the end with content, for example, white papers or press articles or several other publications, for example, or also workshop formats with, I don't know, universities, for example, with students, or targeting other events on a local level, for example, also in cities, to also target the first responders, for example, like police or these target groups. Yeah, to have like a toolbox to target every target group we would like to target, and also to cover all the relevant communication channels. Yeah, so these are the main goals and objectives of working group 1. What are our deliverables? So we have to create content and to communicate our targets. So in the short and midterm, we already talked about our white paper. We are currently in finalizing or doing the final steps to publish the white paper during October now. And this is a short midterm goal. It will be also the start of a series of further papers we would like to publish. But besides this, it's also important to cover other channels, and also to cover every target group, from the young people to the elderly. So, for example, targeting local newspapers or also conferences continuously, but also we are looking forward to opportunities like collaborating with, for example, European universities. So I think these are the mid and short-term goals we have in a working group. And in the long term, we had the idea to do like an acceptance study. So in collaboration with PAVE, to really get the people into the vehicles. So for example, do an interview with the people, with the target groups, then let them drive with for example, mass vehicles or mobility as service vehicles, for example, in the ride pooling or ride hailing case, and then ask them again, so that we have like a development of the acceptance and the perception of the people of these services and vehicles. So I think this could be a very good basis for further studies, or for example, also papers. So in general, further publications, to have like concrete numbers and data to work with. Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. And our third part, what we are like to tell you is or an aim of the white paper. So I already talked about it. So our white paper aims to provide like a holistic perspective on the benefits of autonomous mobility and also the challenges. So clearly communicating what's the current status of this technology, what the current technology is covering, and which aspects they are not yet covering. So to provide like a navigational guide, equipping the general public and also non-users of autonomous mobility, so like cyclists or pedestrians, with insights about challenges and benefits. So the aim is to create like awareness of the opportunities and challenges, and to increase or to give like a first, or do the first step in building understanding and trust, also acceptance in this technology. So we are very looking forward to publishing our paper, and also to get feedback on it, and to continue our next steps in our working group.
Thank you. Rico, I don't know if you had anything else to add.
No, it's totally fine.
That was amazing. Thank you so
yeah.
much. That was a great presentation, and I may be entirely biased, but I am very much looking forward to the publication. So yeah, it'd be great to read very, very soon. You talked about perception, and I think for, well, the public, and I can use people around me as examples, but a big part of the perception is misunderstanding and fear. I think that's a very key area there. Rico or Michael, do you think that the trust building will be a more significant challenge than the technological development itself? If so, how do you kind of envision overcoming some of these barriers?
Yeah, well, as I said, I conducted my first acceptance study on AVs over 8 years ago, and even back then, trust and acceptance were already dominant topics. But from my perspective, the relevance of trust building is greater today than ever before, because technology is here, even if only in certain cities or geonets or countries. But it is here and is evolving daily. So, for instance, in the US or in China, there are hundreds of thousands of AVs on the roads, and there are meanwhile also significant development projects in Europe, for example, in Oslo or in Hamburg. But what good is the best technology if people don't use it or have any reservations about it? So the diversity of those we need to educate and excite about this technology, and the people whose trust and acceptance we require is immense. So there's the general public, local communities, first responders, local authorities, political stakeholders, and many more. So I'm not sure if trust building is the more significant challenge compared to technology or technological development, but I often feel that the tech maturity is already ahead of broad general public's trust. So I think the key point is to involve people transparently in the development of AVs and their development progress. So we really need to engage people early on and show them the benefits, success stories, and also the current challenges this technology brings, while simultaneously advancing the technical development to gradually resolve these challenges. So we need to enable people to participate in discussions and let their opinions and requirements flow into the development process of robotaxis or robo shuttles and their respective services to eventually have user or user-centric services. So acceptance and technological development are very closely linked. So our current problem is that the technology, as I said, already exists and is gradually coming to Europe, but most people know far too little about it. So as the PAVE Working Group 1, so understanding trust and acceptance, we aim to address this by educating the general public about AVs in a timely manner, actually, and creating a general understanding of the benefits and the challenges in a way that everyone can comprehend, and through media and channels and ways of engagement that allow us to reach all demographic groups. So with our white paper, we're trying to take the very first step. So we know that we can create a general understanding of AVs with this paper, and understanding, as Michael already said, of AV use cases, benefits, challenges per use case, social impact, and whatever. However, we also know that the paper alone cannot build trust and acceptance. So for that, we really need deployment in Europe with significant fleet sizes. So no 3 to 5 vehicles, so significant fleet sizes. And our goal eventually should be to get people into AVs, as Michael already said, as early as possible to experience a ride. Because from my point of view, the practical experience of this technology will significantly increase trust and acceptance, and better than any white paper or webinar.
Amazing, thank you. And Ingrid, you touched on some of the work that you're involved with, especially with the CCAM cluster, with the European Commission. And Rico just alluded to some of the societal kind of benefits. So how do you see AVs impacting society? And I think more importantly, how do we leverage that impact to actually increase public perception of AVs?
Well, I think there are several facets to this, and a lot of things were already said by Michael and Rico, but I think it is exactly this. Why Why should we have this? I think this is the key question. We are beyond the hype. It's not exciting just because it's AV anymore. And I think this is one of our wording things. And I noted that we have already now said technology, this technology, people have to trust the technology. Are you sure? Who cares about technology? I think it actually offends quite a lot of people when we start discussing about technology. I think that one of the big things here is, what is it good for? Why should we do this? And there was, in the middle of the hype, there were lots of big aspirations with what AVs could bring. They should solve the Vision Zero for accidents and fatalities, create lots of jobs, lots of growth, reduce congestion, reduce emission, all that. And what do we see until now? Null, nothing, very little in true impacts. And I think there is hope though, but we have to work a little bit because, as also was said, there are lots of projects, pilots, our 2 vehicles here, there are 3 vehicles there. The large scale that is being asked for, yes, numbers is one thing, but we could also think about number of significant use cases that are out there, that are important to people, that are not just there for the sake of showing that we can drive in a platoon or something, but that really provide some true value add. And I'm also thinking that acceptance to me, as a Swedish person, means tolerance. And why should we just tolerate this? People have to like this. It has to be meaningful. It has to be adopted and attractive. And we have to want to use this and be excited about it, as was said. So I think this usefulness thing is really important. And the question is how we design the services so they are affordable, attractive, accessible, available for all. And then they will become accepted, I think. It's a bit of a catch-22 because in order to invest in it, you want to see the impact or have some evidence that there will be an impact. But in order to show that, you have to have a critical mass of things that help you provide the data to show the impact. So we have to work a lot on this on the research side, and I think we are trying to do this. But I think once this serves a true use in society, and it's not just something that please like our new technology and trust it, then I think we can take that next step.
I like that answer. Thank you. Anna, so Waymo is very much at the forefront of this technology and deploying these services across various cities. But I think in communicating with the public, a key challenge is, in mixed environments where there is a Waymo vehicle and a kind of human driver vehicle, how does Waymo account for unpredictable human behavior on the road? And how do we then educate the public about these complex kind of dynamics on the road at the moment?
Thank you. So indeed, as far as we want to put autonomous vehicles on the road, is going to take some time, and these mix human / more automated vehicles will be there for a long time to see. The Waymo driver, which is our automated driving system, is designed to be cautious, defensive driver, and also adapting to human-driven vehicles. And of course, we as humans, we get more distracted and we are more unpredictable. So there's always going to be some incidents. So that's important to take into account. Because our Waymo driver is built in this way, we are already reducing the number of incidents and improving road safety. We have put several studies and data to showcase that, but indeed the data to date from Waymo indicates that we are reducing these road incidents, like 84% fewer crashes with airbag deployment, or 73 less injury causing crashes, 48 police report crashes. And this is because this defensive way of Waymo driving accounts for this unpredictable to the extent of possible of the human behavior. So if the car in front, human driven, is going a bit distracted, we will slow down. We will take that into account, and therefore trying to avoid some of these things. So that is for this mixed environment and how we can help promoting road safety overall. And as we've seen over the time that we have put a Waymo driver on the road, people that experience the vehicles become very excited about it. It's a novelty in the beginning, but then it becomes part of their daily commutes. We see it in San Francisco, where the locals look at Waymo as part of everyday life. Is no news anymore, and you would call the Waymo the same way that you called any other ride-hailing service. And we also see this public acceptance because of course, we run different campaigns in order to put the vehicles on the road. So we engage the public in the beginning, see how they would react. And then we have the paid trips like any other service. And the increasing number of these paid trips showcase that people accept this new form of mobility. They trust it because they take it and they pay for their service. So it's something that goes very much in line with this. So there's a trust, there's the acceptance, but there's also the way that we try to transparently and publicly engage with the different demographics and the different people that we're trying to reach. But yes, I do agree on the point that research is important, but I would also have to say that people need to see these vehicles on the road. People need to experience, people need to see it for their own eyes. Right now in Europe is a bit too far. There's no, we talk autonomous vehicles, people don't, a lot of people don't have that concept of what it is and how does it work exactly. So you have to experience to actually trust it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I was just about to ask Ingrid about, given that large spread AVs aren't as available in Europe as it is in China or the US, what role do you believe, organizations such as VTI or maybe even industry can play in exposing the public to experience this technology?
Well, I think it is true. I had the pleasure to ride a Waymo thanks to Guido in PAVE actually in August in US. And yes, of course, you get the experience and you are very comfortable. After a while, you don't care at all. And I think that we have to link research to reality to see that there are things coming out of on the roads and that people can experience that. I completely agree with that. But I think also the difference with pushing out 200 AVs someplace in Europe, just like that, if there is not a true need that you're serving. In Los Angeles, San Francisco, there is some kind of ride-hailing need that you're meeting with these. It is not just, people don't ride it because it is a Waymo or autonomous. They ride it because they want to go someplace, and this is a practical way of doing it. I think that is the mindset we have to always drive this usefulness. And we have a different culture here, and we are very careful and all this. But I think we have to figure out how it is an integrated part of a service. And I think one task for research and VTI is to put it in context, not just make this a technology thing. It is not just because an automaker wants to develop a new cool technology and that they are trying it out on the market or something. This is sort of an integrated part of a system. And it's not just the vehicle. The whole issue is, how do you get from A to B, and not just get from A to B and you're dumped in B, and then if you need help to get to whatever the purpose was, that the service adds some value to you. I think we have to think through, be creative of thinking, and also making sure that this then is affordable for many people in the European context to make that experience.
Thank you.
And to provide the data, of course, so you can follow up and prove the impact.
Yes, thank you. So another theme I feel like in this area is skepticism, and I think some of us know studies that have shown kind of that when people are less informed about AVs, they are more enthusiastic, whereas where they're more accurate or have a better understanding about the technology, they have greater skepticism. So Michael or Rico, how do you think organizations in this space, so cross collaboration, can balance educating the public without increasing that skepticism, especially in times when you have to communicate the risks and the limitations of the technology?
Oh, it's a good question and a interesting paradox. I mean, people with less knowledge about AVs tend to have higher acceptance of AVs because they rather recognize, I guess, potential benefits such as personal convenience. But people with more knowledge about AVs are more aware of current challenges, and that even though AVs are already available in some cities with a stunning performance, I mean, the way we perform is great. This technology is mature, but still in development. And they might be also familiar with some AV involving incidents that happened in the past, even though the AVs were not at all or not fully responsible for that incident. So, however, when it comes to educating the general public about autonomous vehicles, I believe it needs some kind of a nuanced and transparent communication strategy and learning journey for the people. So organizations should avoid overwhelm people with detailed technical information, I guess. So they should rather go for a staged approach. So for instance, by initially explaining basic AV challenges and benefits to provide a general but comprehensive understanding of autonomous driving with a standardized nomenclature and an easy to understand language. So what Ingrid mentioned as well. So that's what we are doing with our first white paper. So providing a general understanding without diving deep into technology. So like describing different use cases, potential benefits, challenges per use case, social impact, and just briefly outlining regulation and technology topics around AVs in a way that really everyone can understand. And I think what all organizations, so tech providers, OEMs, or even we as PAVE can do, aside from like creating white papers, is really engaging with the local community. So engaging with different groups of society, just leave our offices and discuss AVs with the people on site. So go to universities, to schools, local events, and interact with the elderly, children and their parents, first responders, local authorities, and really people who do not know anything about AVs. So reach out to your local newspapers, for instance, and try to initiate a joint article addressing benefits and challenges of AVs to reach really a broad audience from different groups of society. So make people understand autonomous vehicles on a high level without going too much into tech detail first, and try to do it with an easier language and as you would describe it to a 5-year-old kid, for instance. And so in the next step, organizations might get a bit more technical and like focus on real world benefits, for instance, and success stories, for instance, by like providing videos where the system did a really great job and probably better than a human driver, for instance, by avoiding a crash that would have been caused by a human driver without decent reaction by the virtual driver. So this is some things that Wayne was doing great, for instance, and some other companies as well. But on the other hand, I think you also need to be really honest about current challenges. So just in order to set realistic expectations about AVs. So for instance, AVs might still struggle in severe weather conditions, for instance, or highways might not be part of the system's ODD. So ODD, for instance, not an easy language. We know what it is, but so ODD might not be part of systems OEDs, which could make your ride longer compared to a private car. But you should always provide like mitigation measures, for instance. So like, hey, we're testing AVs in different cities and weather conditions, or even on highways to ensure safety and reliability in all conditions and make the service available for you anywhere, anytime. So what I would like to emphasize is share your success stories, but be really transparent about remaining challenges and steps to take, present mitigation measures, and do it in a way that all people, so the elderly, the children, and all people understand. But again, and I think every one of us has already said that, very best thing you can do is really getting people inside the vehicles and just let them take a ride. And I believe there's no white paper, no communication or engagement strategy that is more suitable to really increase trust than making people experience an autonomous ride. And that's why we need massive AV deployments in Europe.
Thank you. And I actually really liked what you said about language and the language that surrounds AV. I feel like also Ingrid alluded to it earlier, you know, there's different ways in which we say things. And Michael, you said that, you know, now it's about understanding, and then we kind of have to think about trust almost like after that fact. To any of you, how do you think we can, I guess, better communicate the language itself that surrounds AV? Open question.
This is so hard, if I may start, because I think there has been systems which have been released in vehicles and personal cars that sort of overpromise a lot by that, what they are called. And I think that is that has done a lot of damage, actually, and there is no approval authority that says, yes, you can use this terminology or not. And I don't know exactly how to do this and how to get it right, but transparency was echoed several times. And I think this is the key, and to be clear what things do and what they don't. I don't know how Anna sees this, but I guess as long as things don't do anything unusual, if you have automated technology installed in a vehicle and it sort of drives like you would do, and it doesn't do anything strange, you wouldn't really think if nobody is behind the steering wheel, because it behaves normal. As soon as it goes beyond that, that is when we have to take care. And I think that is sort of the borderline between doing something that is expected of a vehicle and when something goes, maybe not goes as intended. That is what we need to be clever about identifying and being transparent about, and have when we call things something, we have to bear in mind how we sort of limit that we don't overpromise. And I don't know how to overcome this because the damage has been done, but we can, of course, try to fix that somehow. But yeah, just a lot of thoughts, no answer to your question, unfortunately.
Anna, I think you had something to say.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, indeed, we talked about transparency, and for us, it's important to showcase the performance of these autonomous technology in the most transparent way most transparent way possible. We do share a lot of safety research papers, and we recently launched the Safety Hub, which provides an unprecedented level of transparency within this industry of autonomous driving. We include data that is asked by the US government, of course, including the vehicle miles traveled, so that people can indeed download this data and actually analyze the performance. So this is the most transparent. They can see really what how safe AVs can really be. So that's about the transparency. When it comes to to showcase how things are, we never Waymo never says that we are the epitome of safety and there's nothing going wrong. There are risks and there are limitations, of course, of the technology, but that's why for us to say we can decrease accidents by X%, that took a really long time, a lot of research, a lot of testing, and we are very carefully approaching these evolutions. We are slowly but steady going on company. We're growing now faster, of course, but behind there was a lot of research. There was a lot of testing to ensure that when the vehicle comes into the road, it's as safe as it can be. So that's for us very, very important. Hence being this transparent. Hence putting all these safety features for everyone to be able to access on their own.
Yes,
Could I just ask Anna one thing? When you said, because I think this is sort of in the right direction, you say that we can reduce accidents by X%, whatever X was. But what is the critical mass you need to be able to have a statement like that? You know, if you buy 10 Waymo cars and put them in a service in some city, would you be able to see a dent in the curve then, or do you need 200, or what? You know, how can you think about that true impact that is being made? And let me know if I derail the discussion, then we can take that afterwards.
The data that I currently have is that over 22 rider only miles driven until the end of June this year. That's where the Waymo driver was involved in some accidents, and we were 84% less crashes with airbag deployment compared to human driving, 73% less injury causing crashes, and 48% less police reported crashes. So that's we compared the data to what happens in the road. But I think at this moment, further than this, I would have to defer to some of my more expert colleagues.
Thank you, Anna. And on the topic of safety, I think there's a very delicate balance between, you know, public safety concerns and the push for innovation in AVs. Ingrid, how important do you think it is to kind of strike that balance between research and policy and ensuring that we don't slow down the progress technologically while still maintaining very stringent, I guess, safety standards?
Yeah, this is a tricky one, because I think nobody would accept that we compromise safety. We can never say that we compromise safety, and we can never do it either. And then, as well, the perfect can be the enemy of the good. I don't think we would have had aspirin if they were invented today, you know, and were supposed to be released on the market. So I think that when automation is activated, the AVs, they have to perform better than a human driver, which in Waymo's case seems to be the case. But then you also have to ask how safe is safe enough? Is it just a little bit better, or is it a lot better? And I think this is something that we in the research community need to work with, and maybe also philosophers and people involved in ethics need to think about this, because there is a lot of discussion sometimes of this trolley problem. You know, what should you hit, the person having a trolley, or should you sacrifice the driver? This is a very theoretical question, and there are lots of academic interesting dilemmas you can put up, but I don't think this is the main issue. It is rather, you can also think, is it ethical not to do whatever you can do to prevent accidents from happening? So maybe by being too strict, you are really unethical in not helping the society to move in the most safe options. So I think the governance here is critical, and to have as much as we have to have the public to sit in the cars and understand what automation is and not. I think the decision makers, the investors, the funders, the planners, the politicians, they also have to understand what can be a safer option. But of course, there has to be data to show this as well. And as has been said several times today, I think what does these types of systems when implemented, what do they do, what don't they do, and to get it right in that communication, I think where does it work, where doesn't it work, and how it is used. I think that is sort of fundamental things when we go to safety. And if we then can sort this out so they make sense where they are, I think that we will slowly progress towards increased safety. But of course, we have to always think about safety, but not overthink it.
Thank you. And Anna, just in terms of the kind of long-term perception or acceptance piece, or from Waymo's perspective, how do you kind of envision building that consistent narrative or a positive narrative, I guess, especially where, you know, there may be more AV related incidents in specific regions?
Well, basically that long-term trust comes with building engagement with the public. Very simply, we invest in showing up in the communities where we operate. We try to get as many feedback as we can from the people that indeed use the service. So this is not just a novelty, that is a long-term service and part of their daily commute. We've also, you know, we've run now the Waymo communities, the former Let's Talk Autonomous Vehicles, to really push for public education campaigns with several American organizations, and these creates dialogue of the benefits of fully autonomous vehicles. That it's also a forum where people can ask questions, and we're seeing a wide acceptance, of course, from people that are interested in this. There will be some skepticism. It's normal. It's still a new technology. So by improving this engagement with the public, that's how we can mitigate that.
Thank you. Enrico or Michael, and how do you think that we can, so this is our first step, this white paper, and you're building this understanding. How do you think that we can properly utilize this paper as a tool, I guess, to educate the general public about AVs? What do we need to do? What are the kind of actionable steps, if you like?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so what we think what we could do is yeah, like demystifying some topics about autonomous driving. So I often have yeah, several weeks ago I did another presentation at a conference, or a smaller event with also a panel discussion afterwards. And often the discussion about autonomous driving is ending up with Tesla or with some topics about Tesla. It doesn't matter if about their technology and so on, and what they can do and what the system cannot do. And I think this is one part also to address these myths or these topics in our paper. So this could be one part of our usage of the paper, to especially go into this, and also to really show that autonomous driving is not science fiction anymore. So we see it with Waymo and also with other companies, also in China, that there are several deployments of robo-taxis or robo-shuttle services. I think these are two main levers that we can use. And after this, we also have to inform people in a right way. So as we already said, to use easy language, and to cover different communication channels. So I think these are main points we can use to get the white paper to the right people.
But I think we would just like to add one point. So our initial goal was to reach as many people as possible. So, and the elderly and children or whoever. But the white paper is currently only available in English, or will be available in English. So I think there are so many people that are not so familiar with the English language. So I think in the next step, we definitely need to translate the paper into different languages and to make it available in other countries in their languages. I think we have to do this, but because there are so many people that are probably not willing to read a paper of so many pages that is in English about autonomous vehicles. I think this won't work. So I think we can use this paper as a basis for many other communication measures and other white papers or community events or whatever. But this is just the very first step, I guess.
Thank you. So there's been loads of different ways in which we can engage with the public, or how we can build trust and engage better when talking about AVs. To put you all on the spot, if I was to ask you the kind of single priority, if you like, in terms of building trust or acceptance in AVs and communicating that on an EU level, what would you say that thing was? So lots of things to choose from.
If I may start, I would say let's have people experience the vehicles by themselves. There won't be any other way that people can trust, accept, and see the vehicles for themselves. So and not small pilot projects that last only in a segmented road or anything. Let's have people try fully autonomous vehicles and see them for themselves.
Thank you. Ingrid?
Yeah, yes, but not just like that, not just pulling it out and having it there. And here is the automated vehicles. Go and try them. I think they have to be integrated in some kind of meaningful service, so the usefulness is clear, because I think that is in the long run the only thing that that it serves a true need that will drive the attractiveness and the use and, well, acceptance, if we have to use that word then, and trust.
Thank you, Rika.
And I think one word that I always think is, do not ask how the society can accept CCAM, but ask how CCAM and automated vehicles can help reaching societal targets. So you should sort of not, we should see how can it fulfill some true need.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with both of you, and I said it a couple of times today, make people experience an AV, because I think when I had my first autonomous ride a couple of years ago, I was really thrilled, and I believe that so many people do not know anything about the vehicle and are have skepticism towards AVs will fundamentally change their mind once they are sitting inside one.
Thank you, Michael.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I think it's also one important point is it's to get the people into the vehicles. But when I think of my family or my friends, when they're sitting in a vehicle, so in a private owned vehicle with a lower automatization level, let's say 2 or 3 or 2+, I know, something like this. I think we have also to start getting the people step by step to the or getting or leading them through the different automation levels. So what the vehicles can do, what they cannot do, but because I think most of the people which are not that familiar with this topic are totally overwhelmed by not that sophisticated systems like an ACC, so adaptive cruise control or something like this. So to lead them through the journey until they sit really in a level 4 vehicle, or to get them understanding also from the scratch, or to give them a better overall picture. So because when I think my environment or people that I'm talking to about this topic, they really need or they would like to experience it more in a way to go to go into the topic step by step. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We are getting to the end of this conversation, and I hope it's actually the first of many, because I think there are so many different lanes and avenues of this conversation that we probably just haven't had the time to fully explore today. I posed the question of the overall webinar as, how can we build and sustain public trust in autonomous vehicles? I think from what I've heard today, or my key learning really is that, collaboration is probably paramount. There are a lot of different people that need to work together, and this is going to be maybe a slow journey, but it's a journey that we will have to take in shaping that role, I suppose. It's not the kind of effort of a single organization, but a cross-sector mission within and outside the ecosystem to build that trust and bridge the gap between the technology and the public, but also, yes, to have a real need. I think I understood that very well this session for how it's going to better the lives of the people that will use it. So I just want to say thank you very much to the panel for your insights and thoughts, many thoughts that I've had after this conversation, and thank you to the audience as well for joining this conversation. The recording will be available on our YouTube channel at the end of this, and on the PAVE Europe website. The publication that has been teased so many times as well is coming to you very soon. So do follow us online to see when that is going to be announced, where we will touch on some of the themes that we have discussed today. So I would really just like to thank Ingrid, Anna, Rico, and Michael for joining me today and having this discussion. I hope it's the first of many as we kind of build this conversation. And thank you all really for your time and for attending.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much.
Thank you very much.